I know what you're thinking. You see this little alien logo and you go, whoa, this is a gaming laptop. But what I've been told is that in here, the Aurora 16X might be an incredible sleeper laptop. Not specifically for gaming, but content creation, because the display on this thing, fantastic. And I cannot wait to open it up and see it for myself, but we gotta talk about what's in the box. What's in the box? Specifically, be more alien. I cringe every time I read some cringe marketing like that. Holy cow, you're gonna kill a man with this thing. 280 watts, oh my goodness. This thing is a monster. And then on the other end, you got your C5 plug, really short, maybe like 2.5, 3 feet. But the brick power cable is, oh. So you've got like maybe a 10-foot cable in total here for charging, but you guys are here for the actual laptop, which is right here. Is there anything else I'm interested in? No, a little bit of propaganda? I don't care about that. Oh, stickers? Never mind, I will keep those. All right, in the actual little baggie here. What is this, a bag, paper envelope? I don't know what to call it. We have the laptop itself. Someone take a frickin' screwdriver to it?
I literally put that on a plastic table and it scratched it.
My goodness, I don't know if you're gonna be able to catch it, Glenn, but like right in this area.
I see it.
Whoa, that is brutal. Let's put a little sticker on it just to cover this one. There we go. How's the fingerprints though? They faded away pretty quickly, but can I wipe it away with my t-shirt? That's my ultimate test. No, you would need a microfiber cloth. Ugh, not the greatest fingerprint resistant material. As for the rest of the laptop, quite a chonky boy. So I guess they're definitely keeping that gamer aesthetic with this device. Big old intake or exhaust there. We'll have to actually figure out which one is which. There's a bunch on the back here as well. But as for our I/O, that's what's more important. Let me get this out of the way. Oh, wait a minute. There's my microfiber cloth. We're all good. As for the I/O on the left side, we got a full-size Ethernet port. It's a 1 gig Ethernet port. We've got a 5 gigabit a second USB-A port, our headphone audio jack, and then a little battery indicator right there. On the front, nothing, but on the right, nothing. That must mean, there we go, some I/O on the back. You got that full-size barrel plug there. It was over 280 watts, which means of course it's not gonna be USB-C, so proprietary power there. An HDMI 2.1 on the back, a Thunderbolt USB-C right there, which is Thunderbolt 4, and a 10 gigabit a second USB-C, as well as again, another 5 gigabit a second USB-A. And one thing that's really important to talk about with this HDMI port is, unlike some other laptops, this laptop goes directly to the DGPU off that port. Meaning, if you are plugging in a higher refresh rate display or maybe a higher resolution display than the laptop can do, you know you're getting the performance off of the graphics card. And in this case, it's a 5070 Ti in here. A lot of laptops try to go from the DGPU and then through the iGPU as the output on some displays. Not this bad boy. You know you're getting the full performance of the GPU. We're gonna be tearing this thing open a little bit later, and I can already see that I at least have easy access to, holy cow, how many screws is this? 10 screws? And as for the actual deck itself, let's open it up. As I'm opening it up, we might as well talk about the rest of the specs that's in this specific device. So it is actually based off of Arrow Lake, meaning that it is rocking an Intel Core Ultra 9 290HX+. 24 cores, and it boosts all the way up to 5.5 gigahertz on those performance cores. It's not actually one of the newer Panther Lake-based CPUs, which, as we've looked at some other devices, is incredible for battery life. That does come into effect a little bit later, but for an Arrow Lake device, its battery performance is actually pretty good. Again, we're gonna get into that a little bit later. As for RAM, ours is configured with 32 gigs. You can configure it up to 64 from their website, or as low as 16. And then as for our SSD as well, we've got a 1 terabyte Gen 4 drive. The board supports Gen 5, but prices are darn expensive, so you'll take whatever drive you can get. One thing I noticed immediately opening this laptop, this might be one of the thickest display bezels in terms of like this thickness I have seen in a very long time. And I can like feel it, like the weight of it. Oh, it definitely doesn't pass the one finger. Kind of passes it, you know? Maybe the thickness adds like some extra rigidity. Can I bend it? Oh, I can. I did not put very much pressure on that at all. How about the rest of the chassis? It's thick, man. I can hear it creaking. Did you hear that? Holy cow. Oh, now it stopped creaking. I got the creaks out. It's like when you crack your back for the first time and then try again. Oh! I didn't even open it all the way. Oh man, I love 180-degree laptop hinges. You know, the amount of times that I'm like holding my laptop like this because I'm on set doing something, please, Lord, please be a touchscreen. You know what? I'll get one of my 2 wishes. It's a 180-degree hint and I don't get a touchscreen. Damn it. That's fine. I don't want to smudge this screen up though. Even just on the home wallpaper, this looks great. I want to watch some HDR content on this later because this is just the freaking default Alienware background and I'm already like loving the blues on this thing. Holy cow. I'm gonna do some typing though. Let's open up a notepad. Elijah is not the funniest host they have on ShortCircuit. The keyboard's fine. It's not my favorite keyboard. The Razer laptop I typed on a couple months ago was incredible, and even the last Alienware laptop I typed on a couple months ago was better than this. Saying that, it's fine. I have no real complaints with it. There's a tiny bit of like flex if I'm going ham with all of my fingers. Just regular typing, it feels fine, so I have no complaints for this keyboard. Trackpad though, ooh, I don't like the click. The click's pretty weak. The actual gliding experience, fine. The trackpad's a big letdown. I'll be honest with that one. I'm gonna have to plug this thing in if we wanna test HDR, but I think it's time we watch a YouTube video just to see what it's like. And the video I'm gonna pull up is actually this segue to our sponsor. See, cinema.
Hey, if you want to binge watch Gilmore Girls, that's none of your ISP's business. Private Internet Access wants to hook you up with a VPN that hides your browsing history from your provider and shady third parties as well. Their network spans over 91 countries and a single subscription comes with unlimited connections! Which means you can watch shows from outside your own region, so you can marathon Dairy Girls next. There's so many shows about various types of girls. Go check it out at piavpn.com/shortcircuit or by using our link in the description for a special exclusive deal with a risk-free 30-day money-back guarantee.
I was bringing the power brick up to plug it in so that we could get the full HDR. This thing's heavy and it makes me wonder about the whole package here. So we're gonna weigh the laptop first. Just the laptop is 5 pounds, 11 ounces. And if I add our chunky power brick here, 7 pounds, 10 ounces. That's a big load to carry around, to be honest. Don't include that. It's a lot of weight to add in your bag. That's what I meant to say. 240 hertz, 2560 by 1600, and it's a 16 by 10 aspect ratio. Like I said, for content creation at the beginning, that means you got a little bit more maybe Premiere timeline space. Am I crazy? This 240 hertz feels slow. And what I mean, like, I feel like there's a delay. Maybe I'm just...
Might have to hit it with a restart or...
Yeah, to be honest, it looks really good. When you set up HDR in Windows, there's a slider in the settings that you can kind of adjust the HDR-ness, if you want to call it that. And right now we have it at about the 80 mark, which is what Lab said is primo. But if we crank that down to 0, you can kind of even see on the top down there, it kind of like, it obviously made some adjustments, and it's not as great on camera for you guys, but in here, it makes a world of difference. Actually, you can see it pretty aggressively here. But when you get that dialed in at about the 80 mark, dude, this display is awesome. Kind of danced around it a little bit, but like I said, our labs did test it. Here are some of the benchmarks that they got from it. It is genuinely a incredibly good color accurate display if you are, again, wanting to do some sort of professional work. I am on max brightness right now, which labs tested and got 670 nits, where they claim that it could do 620, Alienware claimed that at least, and that was in HDR. In SDR, we hit about 428, which is, again, slightly above what they ended up claiming, but good job. Great display. I hope the speakers hold up, though. Let's test some actual, like, good high quality video, like crap rave. Bring your own headphones, kids. It's not very loud, to be clear, which shocked me. I thought this was gonna be a lot louder of a device. And normally I say, hey, that might be a good thing because, you know, then you have a higher quality speaker. It might sometimes doesn't sound as loud, but I will say I am not a fan of the quality of speaker on this. I think especially the bass, in my opinion, leaves a lot more to be desired. I was just told that it only has 2 2-watt speakers and no subs. That would immediately explain then why I had issues with the bass. So I'm gonna cut it down to 50% though. It's a lot quieter. Saying that, it's a lot better. It doesn't sound like it's blowing out those 2 tiny 2-watt speakers in here. So enough about speakers and screens. It's gaming time. One of the things before I get into gaming though is using the Alienware Command Center. I actually want to go into the mux switch here and turn it to DGPU only. It will require a reboot, which will do it really fast here. But basically that just means that it's only going to be trying to output everything through the DGPU. So for gaming, for example, you actually will get slightly better performance. One thing that's worth pointing out is labs noticed that the iGPU was still enabled, and it seemed like some applications might have still been trying to utilize the iGPU. We're not 100% sure, but we think that might be a BIOS bug of some sort, because if it's set to DGPU only, it should be going through the DGPU only. But maybe this is a call. Alienware, let us know if that's intended or not. Before we actually game, I forgot one more thing. We have to come into performance here and set it to overdrive. Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. Oh, there it goes. I'm not even in game yet. Could you imagine this becomes your white noise machine? You're just like, I'm gonna go to sleep. Overdrive. My volume is still at 50% and I can hear the fans more than the speakers. I will mute it really quick. All right, Glenn, you ready? I'm gonna blow your eardrums out with this one. All right, time to game, gamers. I'm a trackpad gamer, remember. Now that I got my FPS counter, we're on a medium preset, but without any upscaling. And one thing I'm noticing right away is my 1% lows are not very far from my average FPS, which is why I thought it was so smooth right away. My average is just over 100, but my 1% lows are also just above 100 now. They actually got a low as about 95, but the 1% lows is where you're gonna notice all the hitching, right? So the fact that they're so close together makes this an unbelievably smooth gaming experience. I'm shocked. I thought this was gonna underperform. This feels great for a 5070 Ti laptop. And this 5070 Ti is a 115 watt TDP, and the whole laptop itself is 155 watts. Again, like I've talked about many times before, these mobile laptop chips quite often have different power draw, which is why it can get super confusing as to which 5080 you might have in your laptop or 5070 Ti. This one is a 115 watt, and dude, like I said, I'm honestly very impressed with this. I have now just turned on the stealth preset, which was just a hotkey on F7 here. Fans obviously come crazy down. Now my FPS has come down a tiny bit, but I'm also in a way more dense area. I'm gonna turn back around and try to get back to where I was, make it as fair as possible. The boss walks by, you click on the silent mode. Hey, how's that business report coming? I'm about 70% there, as in 70 FPS. I will say, now that we're in the silent preset, yes, I'm obviously getting way less FPS. I'm averaging about 70 to 80. Saying that again, the 1% lows are right in line with that, so it doesn't feel hitchy. You know what? I'm impressed with the gaming on this. Before I actually rip it fully open to see exactly what's inside, we got one more test. We gotta do the webcam first. This is a business laptop, maybe. You know, we were just talking about it. Let's do our business call right now. As for the webcam, 1080p, 30 FPS. Probably more than enough for some business meetings, I guess. And we'll see how the microphone sounds. So far, the camera, it'll pass in a meeting. Not great, though. As for the webcam, oh my lord, that's really bad. You know what? Alienware, they picked their battles. It went into the display. It did not go into the microphone or the camera. We're gonna rip this thing open, and while I'm ripping it open, I'm gonna talk about the rest of our labs results. As for what we compared it against, we went up against the MSI Stealth laptop that I just looked at recently. Now, take this with a grain of salt, that laptop has a 5080, but I think that actually shows how well this device stands, because it was trading blows with it at the 1600p, which is the native resolution, and in the 1080p-ish resolution, or 1200p, this thing was actually like outperforming it. And that's because this chip, the 290HX, is slightly more performative than the 386 chip that is in that Stealth laptop. Now, obviously, when you go to the higher resolution, it does start to lose, and that's just because a mobile 5080 is just a little bit better, whether it's because of the VRAM or the higher clock speeds or the more CUDA cores, whatever it may be. It's a better GPU, obviously. But this thing holds its own, and I think that that's pretty impressive. Hey, there we go, baby. And we're in. Woo! Is that the cooling and that's it? I thought this was a bracket holding it down. No, this is the heat pipe. There's only one heat pipe on the CPU and one heat pipe on the GPU. You know what? I won't criticize it because it still was able to hold up, at least in our gaming tests that we did. Now, normally we don't talk about thermals in these laptop short circuit. We feel that that's a little bit too much for a short circuit. But according to John, who did some of the testing for this laptop, when we were like really trying to throttle it, the CPU did peak at 104 when we were doing like a CPU intensive test. In gaming, it was kind of more in the 90-degree range. So you know what? Maybe it will get very hot and very warm for a long gaming session, which is why I was also very shocked about the one heat pipe. But if it keeps up on your average day-to-day tasks, why? Yeah, you don't need to spend more, I guess. Under this little peel, boop, you got your RAM, user replaceable if you want. And yep, these are 16 gig sticks, so 32 gigs total. Under here, is this my SSD? This one isn't. Oh, okay. So it's got their 2230 SSD pre-installed, and then you've got an extra slot over here. And the included drive they gave us is a 2230, but it looks like both of the slots here can go up to a 2280. One thing that's important to note is there's a whole bunch of different SKUs with laptops, right? And with this specific SKU, one of these slots is for a Gen 5 versus a Gen 4. And then if you get the kind of lower end SKU of this laptop, they're both Gen 4s. And then at the very bottom, you've got your 96 watt hour battery, takes up a good sizable space. There's your two tiny little speakers. Maybe that's why they sounded like garbage. And while this battery is a little bit bigger than that MSI Stealth laptop, it didn't last as long. This device got about 7 hours and 12 minutes of runtime and a charge time of just over 2 hours. But now obviously you're gonna be like, oh, well, it's a lot weaker than the MSI Stealth, so why would I buy this? Remember what I said earlier on in this video. This is pretty good for an Arrow Lake based CPU. I think if this thing was a Panther Lake, you probably would get a lot longer battery charge. But then it's hard to say because the MSI Stealth had the Panther Lake and then maybe it was struggling a little bit in games. So I guess you got to take your trade-off of what you want. Just over 7 hours though, more than enough time if you're getting a quick, bite to eat at a coffee shop or whatever. And then again, you're plugging into your Thunderbolt dock when you get back to your desk. The last little thing to note in here is under this little cover here is our Wi-Fi card, Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 5.4, pretty modern, but how's the price of this? Now I know what you're thinking. Elijah, with a display that incredible, the price must be through the roof. And you're right, it is expensive. This configured model, in this case right here, is $2,630 US. But that's also one of the more expensive models. You can go down to the, U9 275HX variant with a 5070 instead of a 5070 Ti. You'd be swapping some of the stuff around, and it can start at just under $2,000. But I actually think that the upcharge that this one offers might be worth it, especially if you're in it for the display, because those cheaper end models probably come with the LCD version of this laptop. And this thing, you're after it for the display. And it's really hard to judge the value of these products right now in the current global market with how DRAM prices are. I think that if we weren't in such a terrible state right now, I could see even this model being under like $2,000 if it was kind of more normalized times. And I think at that price, this thing's looking compelling as a work laptop. But I'd be curious to know what you guys think of it. I'm kind of shocked that Alienware ended up making kind of a stealthy work laptop, but maybe you prefer it when Alienware doubles down on gaming. And if you do prefer that, you should go check out the most recent Alienware video that I did about 2 months ago. That one went balls to the wall with gaming. Had a light up trackpad and everything.